Welcome to Successful Parenting, where we, Jackie Rue and Robin Choquette, share practical skills for families to build resilience and healthy connections. As practicing professionals and parents ourselves, we hope this podcast is a resource for parents to grow, reflect, and learn more about themselves and their children. Our approach is simple, tangible, and most importantly, we lead with compassion for the integrity of the families we serve. This podcast should not be taken as medical advice and is intended for informational purposes only. We love our work, and we can't wait to watch families gain confidence and open themselves up to new ways of successful parenting.
Welcome back, Robin.
Welcome. What's up, everyone? I'm so glad we are back, Jackie.
I know, I'm so excited for this season, and we've had so much dialogue with our listeners this summer, and I have so many great things to share, and there's so many things that have come up. So this is going to be an awesome season number 2.
I agree. It was a pretty amazing ride. And thank you, listeners. I'm just going to say a shout out to you guys for sticking with us. We were learning and trying to improve as we went along, and you guys stuck right there and always supported us and reached out to us. So that was helpful, just having those listeners reaching out and sending us messages of support and appreciation and even suggestions. I loved it.
Yes, today we have over 4,000 listens, and it's been awesome just getting feedback from families. You know, we've gotten a lot of emails and even phone calls from parents and grandparents. And, you know, interestingly enough, I've had some teenagers reach out who have also listened to some of the episodes. And I've loved just having dialogue about what was really helpful for them, as well as, you know, we've had many requests for this next season on certain topics. And you and I have been able to kind of rally together and have some of these experts from around the country come and really join us to talk about some of these topics and dive into some topics and issues that are even a little bit more challenging to talk about.
Yeah. And those are, I think, so helpful. Just having that expert alongside of us to navigate that conversation and helping listeners and the families that they're trying to support and finding their own support here with us. So I think that's been a great thing and continuing. I mean, we will continue having those experts from all over the country. And please, if you have someone or you know someone, just shoot us that email at successfulparentingplan@gmail.com. Let us know anyone that you think would be great.
Yes, and I know we have some surprises we're going to talk about. But as we get started, you know, we had people reach out, and I just wanted to highlight a few of them. And I know you have too. I had one, a mother, a listener who's also a teacher in a middle school. And she said episode 13, Making Differences with Lauren Bilbrey, really spoke to her. She said she loved when Lauren said, if a student isn't learning the way the information is being taught, then maybe we need to teach the student in a different way so that the student can learn and be successful. And she said that really spoke to her both as a parent and as a teacher. And she 100% agreed with that.
We had part 1 and part 2 with her, and she was well liked by our listeners, found a lot of great information. So I think that was so wonderful. And I agree. Well, let me tell you another one, Jackie, that we got was Pooja from India. We have a lot of people in India listening. We really love that. People outside of our area here in the Midwest, throughout the U.S., also outside of the U.S. Pooja wrote, and she's from India, and said, you know, growing up, I didn't have that unconditional love. And for me, the episode 42 with Dr. Arna, and we were talking about the expectations and thriving in the world of expectations, it really resonated with her. And she had her family members to listen to it because she thought it was really great of how to honor their traditions and how to honor the things that they think are important in the culture, but also being able to experience that unconditional love. And they were able to kind of rewrite it in a way that really made sense for them. They felt like it really helped. There were some older children in the family that they actually had an open discussion about this, which I thought was kind of cool. So I really appreciate. Thanks, Pooja, for reaching out to us.
Yes, I love that. We had Steve from Washington. He reached out just in terms of some feedback for episode 33, Do They Believe? And that was an episode that you and I, Robin, did together. And he said what was so important for him and impactful was when we talked about just the importance of children believing they can be successful. And he said he realized for his daughters how important it is for them to really believe in themselves and even their ability to tolerate failure and manage making mistakes. And he said he realized after listening to that episode that he thinks that's a missing ingredient for one of his daughters in particular, that she doesn't always believe she's going to be successful. She doesn't believe in herself that she can accomplish a lot of the things that may involve the potential for risks of failure. And he said he felt that after that episode, just working on, I know you can tolerate failure, I know you can handle this, by his language and how he approached conversations with her was a game changer for him.
Yeah, so true. And that does. It makes such a difference. Thank you, Steve. So Lamar from the ATL down in Atlanta, he said that he is a grandparent and Lamar's son is separating from his wife. And so he had his son to listen to the podcast because he found it so interesting, was episode 27 with Emily Carrara. And that was the one when we really talked about divorce. And the title was There Had to Be a Better Way, and really looking at being more collaborative in the process. And that was something that he found really helpful, and his son as well. And he felt like it really helped them to get on a page that could be more collaborative and just helpful for the kids. He really liked that one. So thank you, Lamar. We really appreciate you listening and writing into us and letting us know. Folks, at the bottom of our episodes or in our episodes, there is an interactive link that you can click on. And we do ask the question, what does successful parenting mean to you? And you can certainly click and just send us a response. We would love to hear from you. Or you can always send us an email. That would be another great way to reach out to us. Or any of our social media, you can always private message, DM us, and let us know from there. So we get these responses from all different ways.
Yes, and I love the conversation and the dialogue. And there were others that have written in just about things that really stood out to them. And thank you all for taking the time to do that. We are just so geared up and excited for season 2. And we have so many different topics that we're going to be covering. I know, Robin, something that several listeners have requested is us to do some episodes really focusing on the chapters in our workbook. And, you know, our successful parenting workbook that we wrote, I know is being used by a lot of schools as well as even hospital settings as a resource. And we are going to actually spend some time in October going through our model and taking time each episode to walk through creating that individualized family plan. And, you know, you and I know both use it with a lot of our families. And it really helps when we have an idea of our purpose as well as the goals that we have as a parent and for our children to really create a plan. And then it kind of starts to make sense. And it's okay when things don't go the way we want them to. And we talk a lot about that on here, right? As parents, there is no perfect parenting. It's really just giving ourselves grace and coming back to our goals. And really, even when things kind of fall off, having a plan so that we can return to. So I'm so excited about that. And I'm so excited about really starting to dive into those chapters in their book.
Yeah. And you saying, you know, that part, I remember someone else, and I apologize, whoever wrote this on, about not being perfect. And that was something that they had really worked on. And they felt like, you know, it meant to them to be a successful parent is just recognizing I'm not always perfect. And I think that is so true. Yeah, I'm excited too, Jackie. I think we have a lot coming up. I think we're going to be able to support listeners in a lot of different ways, bringing in all of our experts and being able to help them in a way that we can also laugh at the same time at what we're doing, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, we've had a couple listeners also reach in requesting more conversation around these topics. And we're only going to get to a few of them today. But I know we had Alice from Canada. We have listeners in Canada. I know you noted we have listeners from different places, which has been so cool, but really wanting to talk about just ways to support her children in sport, talk a little bit more about supporting athletes, when to help them become motivated, when is too much, when is it helpful, how much should parents be involved. And so we have a lot of cool episodes coming on, supporting your child athlete, helping them develop that inner drive, helping them really build confidence so they can start to really come out of their comfort zone and take some of those risks that we know when athletes do, they really do reach so much more of their potential. So I'm excited about our experts that are coming on this next season to talk about that topic. So thank you, Alice, for requesting that. And we are definitely bringing some of those episodes on.
Yes. And then I have to give a big shout out to the Commonwealth of Kentucky and Marge for reaching out. Thank you, Margie. The one that you really talked about was women's issues and how those impact the family. And I think it is really important to think about that and to talk about it. Jackie had mentioned earlier that can be really difficult. Infertility, different women's issue, postpartum depression. And I know that these are definitely things that are pressing in on our families and impacting them in ways it's not a conversation that is often brought up and talked about. So we are going to bring that forward. And I think that's going to be some great topics as well. What else do you have, Jackie?
Yes, we have Sam from California, how to access and when to access mental health support for his children. One of the things he alluded to is he wasn't sure when his child's behavior was typical or problematic. When is it just regular childhood behavior, or when is it a reason to get a mental health professional involved? And so he really wanted to understand more about how to navigate the world, when to seek help, how to know who to talk to, where to go. And so, Sam, thank you for reaching out on that. We've had several families talk to us about understanding how to navigate, where to go, and what level of care do you use, whether it's, starting with maybe a psychiatrist or a counselor, or maybe doing a group. And so we are going to dive into that topic. And I think that's going to be a really key, because I think the good news is so much of what I see today is we are talking more about our mental health. We are talking more about normalizing, much like you would go to a doctor if you were sick, if you're struggling, to seek help sooner so that it helps more in the long run as well as in the time being. So I'm excited about that conversation. So thank you, Sam, and the other families who reached out.
Yes. I have one from Juanita from Arizona, but we also had people from England. We had Texas. There were a lot. I just picked Juanita from Arizona because I love Arizona. I think it's just such a beautiful area to visit and to live. I really love it out there. We went out there, Jackie. Now I'm thinking about it. You and I went out there because you ran a half or full marathon out there. Do you remember?
Yeah, you and I did a lot of hiking out there too, I think was one of our main reasons for going. But yeah, it was beautiful. I loved it out there.
Well, you ran the half, you didn't run a full. I'm pretty sure it was a half. And then we went hiking the rest of the day. You are just amazing.
Okay,
you were my hero.
I don't know that that was a lot of years ago, but yes, I do. Yeah. I do like to be active outside, and I think you and I have a trip coming soon, so I'm excited to get outside and to hike. And
so Juanita, Jackie. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you there. Juanita wanted to talk with dealing with tantrums. And as I said, there are people from all over that ask for this one. And I think that can be so frustrating. And I think it can leave parents just feeling as though, am I a good parent? How can I support my child? But when this happens, I get so frustrated and I can even get angry and I can respond in unhelpful ways. And then why is my child doing this? And so I think it can be really hard when someone's struggling with tantrums and then even out in public. And that's such a difficult topic. So thank you everyone that wrote in for that. We'll definitely touch on that one.
Yes. And I think a lot of other topics that we're going to cover really helping our children. What we've seen since the pandemic is just a lot of concerns over our children's, executive functioning, just some lags and some skills. And so we're going to talk about that and dealing with bullying. So many of our children, that's been a topic of conversation, is helping them to understand how to respond to someone if they feel like they're being bullied, how to ask for help and things like that. And so I know we're also going to be covering issues related to divorce as well as maybe family members struggling with mental health or addiction issues. Maybe you're a parent or a family member yourself struggling with that too. And so we are going to dive into those topics, as well as another one that was requested is wanting your child to be very polite to others, but not a people pleaser. And so we have so many great topics we're going to cover.
Yeah. The one I thought about was, and once again, it wasn't just one person. It was different ways they presented it, but it was basically bedtime and getting prepared for bed and how to do that in a way that doesn't seem to be a battle. So all of the things that Jackie said and so much more, from discipline to self-compassion, really finding grace, and how do we find grace for ourselves? There's so many things that we're going to be covering in season 2. And we really want you to be able to join in. If in October, if you want to be a part of that, you can certainly reach out and go to Amazon and purchase our workbook, Successful Parenting Plan. It is out there, and be ready to start with us and work along with us in October.
Yes, we are going to be having some pop-up parent sessions. I know last year we had several virtual parenting workshops. At one point we had a couple hundred parents that were involved. And so I'm really excited just for all of the work that we're going to be doing. And so follow us on social media, reach out if there's certain topics you want, but also we host a lot of free virtual sessions on parenting and different topics. And so feel free to follow us, and we'll make sure to keep our social media up to date, as well as our website, so you can check in there. Feel free to go back and listen to any of the episodes from season 1 in case you missed them. Or what I do a lot too with podcasts is I'll re-listen to an episode. And sometimes it's almost like I'm listening to it for the first time. And so if there's a topic that speaks to you, or maybe you're in a different place now, definitely feel free to go back and take a listen.
Yes, I agree. I think going back and listening to those is always helpful. Well, Jackie, ready to say goodbye?
I am, and I am excited to get cranking and start getting ready. We will air our first, technically second official episode, since this is episode 1, next Monday. And so I know we are excited to air that one. And we are going to be talking about, I will leave it as kind of a surprise, but we're going to be talking about probably one of our more requested ones this summer. And so we are going to be bringing that to you. So thank you, listeners, for all the engagement. And we are so excited to be back with you for season 2.
Yes. Thank you. Bye, Jackie.
Bye, Robin.
Thank you for joining us, and make sure to subscribe and like us to catch our next episode, where we will take you on a journey to find new ways of successful parenting.